up, guys? It's your girl Mac Cox with Couture Crafting Conversations. Yay, we made it to another live. Let's see who's in here. It looks like Dana's here. What's up, Dana? It looks like Shorty Dolly is here. Hello, hello. This week was a weird week. So you guys know that I'm like collecting stuff constantly and trying to figure out what's interesting and that kind of thing to bring you the best content. This week just seemed a little dry, and it's been 2 weeks because I was supposed to go for the 4th of July, and I was like, that's not going to work because everybody is doing their own thing. And it just felt dry, I thought. But then as I was going through the content, I was like, this kind of stuff is, I don't know, I found some stuff. I found a few things for us to play with. Hey, Raquel, what's going on? So let's see what I came up with. So you guys know how I do this. I go through the topics. Topic one is usually a person. Then we talk about what I found on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Then we talk about a notion, and then we do other crafting news, and then we get into show and tell. So that's kind of what happens. This usually lasts about an hour or so, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's going on, Michelle? I am so glad you guys made it. All right, let's get into topic one, which is going to be our person. Now, let me tell you, I did not know who this person was at all until recently. This popped up in my Google feed, and you know how Google is. So Google will do you like if you are thinking of something, it already knows. And so it just starts popping up stuff, and you're like, what? What on earth? So that is what we are working with here. Okay, so we are talking about meet the Janesville woman who became the Martha Stewart of quilting. I had, again, no clue who this was. So I'm going to read some of this, and then we're going to skip around, and I'm going to try to hit the highlight points and talk about some of the things that she says. So growing up in Janesville, Janie Donaldson Mullen, that's the person who we're talking about, was in awe of her fashion design mother. As a child, she quickly learned to sew and was taught pattern making by her mom. Then she grew up. She became a secretary after her mom encouraged her to do something new she knew well. So her mom told her, you know how to quilt. Why don't you get yourself a quilting machine and finish other people's quilts for a living? And her mom told her that in 1980. And I'm like, people were doing that in 1980? People had long arm machines? I don't know when long arm machines became a thing. Apparently, that's something that I need to look into and going on. So she said she started quilting professionally in 1980 and since then has become well known in the quilting world. In 1989, she won Best in Show at her first quilting show in Milwaukee. So apparently she's like a savant because you're just going to go out and win on your first show. Okay, fine. That success led her to demonstrating her skills at several quilting expos and co-hosting Quilt Central TV, which aired on public television stations. That show was taped in Paducah, Kentucky from 1999 to 2008. She had a nice run. Did you guys watch that show? Did you guys even know that show existed? Because obviously I didn't. So she says, they called me the Martha Stewart of the quilting world because of my background with my mother and creating patterns. Mullen said I could create whatever content they needed. In a few minutes, I could come up with a purse pattern to show on television. Though fame was not her goal, she said she couldn't go to a quilting event without being mobbed for autographs. What did that look like in the 80s? Like, I guess Tula Pink, Latifah, I guess those people get mobbed too nowadays, but I can't wait to see what quilting mobs look like for autographs soon, because you guys know that I'm going to the Texas show. But anyway, she said she wasn't prepared for that. That wasn't what she was seeking. In 2006, she decided to slow down. She took a year off. She moved from Paducah back to Janesville to be near her family. After the break, she took jobs at Quilt Easy Company in Salt Lake City and Bernina Sewing Machines in Switzerland. Both companies required her to travel, but she always came home to Janesville. At her store, Quilt Central Academy at 1800 Humes Road, Mullen demonstrated how to operate long arm quilting machine, which can punch in a pattern size and run automatically. So she showed people how to run her long arms. The shop is her third and the second in her hometown of Janesville. Her first shop was in Paducah. She currently owns just the one on Humes Road. Okay, so she's still got a shop that's running right now. Paducah hosts major quilting expos, is home to the National Quilt Museum, and has been dubbed the quilting capital of the world. But it was back in Janesville that Mullen wanted to pursue her passion, opening up the store 7 years ago. At the shop, she gets help from her husband, David, store assistant Terry Williams, and quilter Vicky Freed. I feel like I've seen or heard the name Vicky Freed. Terry runs the store. Mullen says we take the long arm machine out to trade shows and convention centers in the U.S. Then she talks about how COVID canceled and moved the shows online. And she says she just came back from a show in Illinois, which was a wonderful show, and she's headed to Akron. So this came out this week. So I wonder if the show in Akron is going on right now. I swear Ohio has all the things for the crafters. I've got an aunt that lives there, and I should totally visit because, again, Ohio has all the things. So her main goal for 2022 is to see Janesville host a quilting show. Well, that's pretty cool. Then she talks about the quilting scene. Um, she talks about her guild, which is lovely. But then she talks about traditional versus modern quilting. And this kind of caught my eye. So at meetings of the guild and at her Central Academy, her shop, she says you might see a variety of quilts displaying traditional or modern styles. She says she's seen guild members work on both styles over the years. It's all very different. The majority of our members embrace both some traditional patterns and they're used in modern ways. The variety of styles in quilting reflects a demographic shift in who's taken up over quilting over the past 10 years. The old-time traditional guilds do not allow or did not allow babies or children in strollers at their meetings because they gave educational presentations and they didn't want to be disrupted. She says many of the more modern style guilds are filled with young moms and dads who want to bring their kids to the meetings. I like that. So moms and dads are coming to the meetings. What? I got to get to a guild meeting, guys. Anyway, we're seeing that the traditional quilters who are grandma and grandpa age are migrating over to the modern guilds because there's so much happening there. I like it. I like it. Counting herself among the veteran quilters, she said, we're the heroes. We bring the special scissors and the machines. We loan stuff. We rock the baby while you sew. No one expects the younger quilters to follow age-old rules, she said, because their quilts are artistic creations of their own making. She says the Mad Mod Quilt Guild in Madison is the nearest strictly modern quilting guild in Wisconsin. Yet its president, Tara Curtis, said there's definitely overlap between the membership of traditional guilds and the modern guilds because people have a pretty wide range of aesthetics. According to Curtis, traditional quilting is often discernible by its repeating patterns. A quilt that mixes the modern and the traditional will play more loosely with fabrics and colors. A fully modern quilt tends to resemble a canvas on which an artist has stitched a picture. Quilters in either camp might play with negative space, so the observer is unable to discern distinct quilt blocks within that final piece. Whichever style they use, quilters make what they make out of love for the craft community that supports it. Mullen said that quilting is more than just a pastime or a hobby. She says, when you're a quilter, you look like a quilter. You carry tote bags and you have a stash of fabric and a sewing area. She says quilters are a social group and they gift things, she says. That's considered a lifestyle. Really, really interesting article to me. And obviously, so much so that I pretty much just read it to you. But I think she's onto something here with the modern and the traditional quilts, and then the more these guilds that are starting to blend that. I think that my guild, even though it's called the Modern Quilt Guild, it's the LA Modern Quilt Guild, I think I see a mix of the styles too. I don't know that anybody is just straight traditional or just straight modern. I think there are some people who really like blocks still, but they incorporate them in modern ways. They play with the fabrics, they play with the colors. And I don't consider myself a modern quilter. Matter of fact, me and a girlfriend of mine were talking about where my quilts kind of fall. And she says, I think you're more of a contemporary quilter. And I like that because I know I'm not modern. I know I'm not throwing up a circle with a bunch of negative space so that I can get loose in the quilting, because you guys know that quilting is not my jam yet at this point. So it's interesting to see how other people view the traditional and the modern and the marriage of the two and things of that nature. So that is who we were talking about. Interesting. I didn't know who this person was, and I feel like I should if she's getting mobbed at the quilt shows. Like, I want to go mob her and get an autograph. I cannot. I refuse to go to the quilt show and get embarrassed. I refuse. I'm going to check out the comments. Anybody have anything to add to that? No, nobody say anything. You guys are quiet out there. That's okay. You can be quiet. I'm okay with that. Okay, so where are we moving to now? Let's move on to topic number 2. Topic number 2 is going to be what I found on the YouTube. Let's see what we got here. All right. Another Teresa Down Under. She is finishing the back to her bubble quilt. So you guys know how I feel about bubble quilts. There is a specific way that I will do bubble quilts going forward. I'm going to actually show you guys that. That's coming up soon. I want to say in the next week or two, I'm going to actually do the addition to that video. She does this the same way that I did mine. There is no way in the world that I would make a bubble quilt the way that she made hers again. She does it. She sews the square partially, and then she stuffs it, and then she sews it again. I would sew the entire thing, open the back with scissors, stuff it, then sew it closed. My shoulders, you're wrestling, it's too puffy, it's too much going on when you try to do it where you sew 3 of the 4 sides. It's just, I don't like that way. I talk about that in my puff quilt video. I just think there really is a better way to do it. And I'm going to demonstrate that in, I think, 2 weeks. But she's finishing off the back of hers, and she's finishing it off differently than I did. But this is a very new and popular way of doing stuff. It's kind of like the self-binding method where you leave some excess fabric around the sides and then you turn it a couple times. So let's keep going. So she took her quilt, the puff quilt, and dropped it on some batting and a backing. And now she's pinning it down to the backing and the batting. And I have this link down in the description bar if you want to check it out. And so she's folding it a couple times and she's putting that pin in there. I tried to do this method on a mug rug and it was such a fail. Such a fail. I don't know why I couldn't figure out how to do this, but now that I see it done, I'm like, oh, duh. But when you get to this corner, if you don't know, well, you don't know until you know. So check it out. She folds that over. This is the part that I missed. The diagonal, so important. Then you fold it down once here to meet it, and then you fold it down again and fidget until your miter comes together. I don't know why I couldn't figure this out, guys, but I couldn't. I could not get the corner to miter. You guys see me struggling with it in the video. I didn't cut it out, but now I know. I don't know that I would finish my quilt like this just because it's just not this is for her cat. And I don't think her cat is going to be judging exactly how neat it is. And I am certainly not the neatest quilter. But when you go over and top stitch it, it's just not perfectly straight, which what is. But I'm not saying that it's not neat. I'm just saying that I think that I would prefer the way that I finish it, and which you guys will see coming up in a week or so. You'll see it. But this looks cool. This is for her cat. Her cat is going to love it. What a cute, I love puff quilts. I just have truly struggled with wrestling them. They're heavy, they're big, they are puffy, they are hard to sew through. I don't know if any of you guys have tried it, but hey, if you have, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so where are we moving to now? Oh, we are going to move on to what we found on Instagram and Facebook. We're going to go to topic 3. All right, let's see here. Topic 3. All right. We are all queued up and ready to go. Topic 3 is going to be what we have found, starting with our Instagram. Okay. Like I said, I was like, gee, it feels dry. It feels like I haven't found a bunch of stuff this week. And then I went through what I did find, and actually, there's quite a few pictures here. So the first one is going to be by Colorworks. There's something about what they do. If you get a chance, just go check out their channel. They are all the color. They do tons and tons of shows and things like that. And I love Colorworks. Love them, love them. This one is their fish. What are they saying? Piece curvy blocks. This is, oh, Fab Fry, they Facebook. Okay, so they have a Facebook. They were showing these techniques. I love the colors. I love the movement. I love the how whimsical it is. It caught my eye. I love that that fish is not just straight up black. Like you can see that they didn't use a solid here. And when I think of them, I think of solids. No, I don't. I think of color. They don't do solids like that. Just kidding. But I like that the fish's face is, it's got some texture to it. So that's Colorworks. I don't know if I showed you guys Paper Saxton before, but I am obsessed. And what makes this interesting, this is just a quilt block, but it's this right here. You guys, how cold of a sewer are you? Like, just probably the best sewer in the world to be able to do this. And I know that she teaches classes, but that blue is pieced. Somehow she's left a 16th. I don't even think that's an eighth. Maybe it's a 16th right here. And it's pieced, like she sewed it. This circle is not applique on top. This is an actual pieced circle. She's got a few quilts that I'm sure we will see at QuiltCon. I'm sure we will see the movement of this. I know that people love her stuff because it's just striking and amazing. And to think that she pieced this is just, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy. So that's Paper Saxton. Definitely check her out. Now this, if you are a quilter, that negative space over there, all that white space, the things that you could do. This color story is so zen. It's so peaceful. It's so chill. And I know that my color story is in your face, slapping you with color, but something about this just gave me all the peace. I think it's such a cool, um, relaxing kind of pattern. And this is in a baby size, and I can't wait to see what they look like in a larger size. She tells us here, this is Stacy Kinney. She tells us to go on ahead and check out the other sizes that people do. But I like this in this size. I might like it as just a wall hanging. It's just such a peaceful quilt top. I like that people are posting their quilt tops that haven't been quilted yet, because I'm always trying to rush, and get you guys completed quilts. And you know what? Maybe I can slow down. Maybe I can show you guys just the quilt top piece. Modern. Oh, how modern this is. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the straight line quilting. I like the color story. It's just a chill quilt. It's something else that kind of feels zen and peaceful. And this is by Book Ends Quilting on Instagram. If you get a chance, check her out. Just, I can't wait to get to see the modern quilts over at the Modern Quilt Guild, which should be, when is QuiltCon? Not the Quilt Guild, QuiltCon. That's next year, like in January, February. I can't wait to see this stuff. Um, it's so simple, but yet not. Such a statement. I love the color choices here. This was a good one. Pride and Joy Quilting. If you have not checked out her Instagram page, she's really probably most known for her paper piecing. She does people like Oprah, Dolly Parton, and she can't, I don't know if she can or can't sell it. She doesn't sell the patterns. She has one, I want to say, of Breakfast at Tiffany's, where Audrey Hepburn, you guys, it's the most amazing style, and it's a very specific style. It's a very, very, very specific color story that she uses. But this popped up, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, you have other patterns? I love this. You guys know I love the rainbow. This is perfect for Pride Month, which was what? In June. Look at the way that she did these colors. Oh, what makes this super cool? This right here, because she could have just stopped this triangle right here. Oh, look at this. Look at where this color is placed. You guys, it's the little things. If you love quilting, you get it. I am a quilter. I'm looking in the nooks and the crannies to see what you were doing, how you were doing it. It's this color and it's where this color falls and it's how she pieced it. I will with certainty be doing this at some point in time. And it's sad because I don't think that I'm going to put my own twist on it. I think I'm just going to duplicate that one because I'm obsessed with it. Okay, next. Ooh, another one that's kind of zen and spa-like. Oh, yay! Squats and running stitches. I like that. I like it because like running stitches. You know, it's the little things again. This is such a cool picture. One, it lets me know that I can stop taking pictures of my quilts dead on. Like, I'm over it. I'm trying to learn how to take better pictures of my quilts, guys. Whatever. Look at this. Look at all of this goodness right here. And I was looking at it. It's simple. It's modern. It's the color story for me. This fabric looks like it's suede. Oh, I am just obsessed with it. And the striping. And I guess this is cream too. I was like, did they use stark white and cream? Because I know that this is like an off-white right here. But I was like, is this a stark white and a cream? If it is, you guys, I don't know. I might just weep if I saw this in person. That's how cool I think this stuff is. This is how cool I think patterns and pulling color is. I am all for it. I love it. I love these shapes. Look at this, flying geese. I'm not really a flying geese fan, but the things that you can do with flying geese are kind of awesome. And she did it by using these half square triangles here. I cannot wait to see what this looks like after it's quilted. It's just chill. You know, it makes me think that maybe I need to venture out into doing a quilt that's not slap you in the face with all the colors. Maybe I need to try to pull a like spa-esque kind of quilt. A girlfriend of mine asked for a neutral quilt and I thought she was crazy, but maybe I need to check it out. I just thought this was different. This is on Make Modern magazine. It's time, it's clocks. I think it's just kind of cool. I like the color story here. I like all of this negative space right here. I don't know what I would do with that negative space because again, I'm not a true quilter in that sense, but I thought it was different. It's something that I hadn't seen before. I know you guys are tired of seeing people's butts, but last week I know that I did. I know that I showed another one, but this is a Dresden on the butt. And I like that this big old patch right here kind of matches a pocket. I don't be surprised if you see me out or if you see me at the Houston Festival with the Dresden on my butt because I think that's pretty cool. Of course, mine probably won't be these traditional patchy kind of colors, but I'll probably have a Dresden on my butt, guys. Look at this color story. Oh, I didn't even understand the shapes and stuff. It's absolutely the color story for me. I don't think people use the color olive enough. I know that I don't. I didn't know how much I loved olive and purple. When people talk about color story and color theory, they talk about how purples and yellows are on the opposite side of a color wheel and how they go so great together. And I never quite love purple and yellow. Like when I think about the Lakers, I don't love that. But somehow they've grabbed enough of the purple tones and enough of the yellow tones to just make it all merry and blend together. Elizabeth, you go, girl. So this is Elizabeth Cray, and she killed it. She killed it. This is a nice one here. And I absolutely love the binding. Check out the bottom right on this binding. It's the little things, guys. And this is the reason why quilters who love quilting can go to a quilt show and just be staring at the quilt. I could stare at this quilt for I don't know how long. And I would be studying the relationship between the olives and the yellows, where she placed the purples. I'm looking right now and I'm looking at these purples up here in this left-hand corner that are much deeper and darker and not touching these super pastels. I never pull a pastel. I never pull a pastel, very seldom. Um, I could stare at this and I probably will revisit this because I want to just look at the shapes that's here and it's so, it's all the things. And the quilting here is just simple straight line quilting. It doesn't distract. It just lets this quilt be great. I hope that this quilt goes to I hope it goes to a show and I get to see it in person because I think it's definitely worth taking a look at in person. Go Elizabeth. Go Elizabeth. All right, are we commenting? Is anybody saying anything? Am I missing anything? I'm absolutely not missing a thing. Nobody's saying anything. Somebody say something just so that I know people are here and my chat is not is not locked. I'll take anything from anybody. Just give me a little, we're here. Okay, let's see what else we have. Aha. So someone finally tagged me and said, "Hey, check out somebody." And I was like, "Okay, cool." They're like, "Pull this on your live, let's talk about it." So I looked at this person and I couldn't find a ton of information about her. Um, what's her name? Clara Nartley, I think. Not sure. I'm going to have to look into her some more. She has some amazing pieces. But what stood out is that she blew this up, and this is one of her pieces, and she's a thread painter. And I think the texture and the color story, and look at what she was able to capture in the eyes. I am not always the biggest fan of portrait quilts. They don't always speak to me, but this one did. I think it's the color story. I think it's the shapes for me. I think it's how densely this is quilted. A lot of time. I like the eyebrows. They're feathered, and feathered brows are a thing right now. I like it. I like it a lot, a lot. And I believe this won a ribbon for something. Again, I was not able to dive into this as much as I want to. I believe that this woman has a podcast. I've got to figure it out. I've got to learn more about her. She had a couple of really nice pieces, but this one is the one that jumped out. And because she had blown it up, I was really able to see it very, very clearly. I was like, whoa. So if you get a chance, definitely check out her page, check out her work, see what she's done. She's got some amazing stuff on her channel. Let me know, have you guys, oh, here's some comments. Oh, yes, thank you guys. You love purple? I love purple too. Oh, look at you guys, Raquel. Okay, y'all are here. Y'all are watching. It's not stuck. Okay. So that is what we found on the Instagram. Let's see what we have found on the Facebook. Let's see, let's see. Where you at, Facebook? Here we are. Okay. I don't know if I showed this one last week. I can't remember if I did or if I did not. Let's see. This is by Sophie Lynn. And let's take a look into it here. I want to try, so you know how you have half square triangles. I want to try the half square rectangle. I guess that's what you call it. I really like this shape right here. I like that these are hearts. I like that it moves. I think I showed this before, but even, why not? Let's love on it twice. I really like how this creates a curve without having to actually sew a curve, because curves are the devil. I don't like to sew curves, guys. I've done it. Not my favorite thing to do. It's not the easiest thing to do. People make it look like, oh, you just glue it and just sew it. No, you don't. It's not the truth. Curves are the devil. I don't love them. Some people love, love, love them. I don't love them. But something about when you can put straight lines together and you get that curve, but it's not like a super slopey curve. I like it. I like it. Okay, so this is Sophie Lynn, and she showed this in one of the groups. Let's go on to the next one. Ooh, this one is by Karen Schindler Bilick, I think. Forgive me. Forgive me. I like it. I'm going to do a star at some point. I don't know what star it's going to be. I don't know how, but I feel like you're supposed to. Although I have one quilt that was a star that I did, probably one of my favorites, one of the hardest ones to give up, called Sweet and Happy. And it's a very, very simple star. But I need to do like a lone star or a star like this, like true diamonds. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I want to. I like this colors. I like the way that she staged it. She was like, you know what? I'm going to clean up my guest room. Do I clean up the guest room before I take pictures? I don't. But this one, she did it. She staged it. Look, she's got her platter there with the starfish. It does give me a beachy vibe. It's good. This is a good quilt. Nice pick of colors. It's also kind of spa-esque. I'm here for it. I like it. All right, now let's see. Ooh, ooh. Nina, I think it's Bjornson. You guys, wait till we get up on this. I am not the biggest fan of um, log cabins. There's just not a ton of log cabins that I love, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Again, it's the purple and the yellow. It's the complementary colors. If you want to see your quilt go viral, make a quilt in purple. People love the purple quilts, but you got to do it right. And she did it more than right. Look at how it's just glowing. Oh, and it's a wall hanging. This is the kind of wall hanging I want on my wall. This is the kind of wall hanging I want to see. She nailed it. Look at the border. Oh, and then it's on a lavender wall. She's got a lilac kind of kind of corn bloom. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it. She nailed this quilt. It's a variation on a log cabin, and you know, log cabins you can twist and turn and really play with them. And she did this. I would like to duplicate this quilt, like not put my own spin on it. Just want to do this, just like that. I want it. You think she'll give it to me? Probably not. Okay, you guys know how much I love an ombre. Ombre everything. This quilt is by Linda Paul. Actually, it's not by Linda. It was a gift. That's what I was just checking. Apparently, she said this is a gift. Either way, this was found through Linda Paul, and I like it. And I can't exactly see how it was done right off the bat. I'm assuming that it was just strips and then it was cut in a certain way and then pieced back together. This quilt is a cutie patootie, and I like it. And I want this one too. I love the ombres. You guys see how we've got the gradient here? I tried to do a gradient quilt, and it was bad. It was my very first quilt, and it ain't cute. This one, I like it. I'd like to try this. And it seems like it's probably simple. And now that I have that sewing machine, you guys should see how fast I sew. I'm just so full throttle all the time. All the time. So you guys are probably looking at this saying, what on earth is she pulling from this? You guys, this block is something special. This is by D Diamond. Or no, this was posted by her. I shouldn't say it's by her. She's looking for somebody to help identify this block. I'd like to know too. So let's get into this block and why on earth I pulled it. Look right here. You guys see that? I was like, wait, what? I'm like, you purposely chopped off your corner because, you know, most of the time you're trying not to eat your corner. But this corner was purposely chopped off. It kind of reminds me of a pineapple block, but I don't know. I don't know what this block is. I don't know what kind of sorcery this is, but I'm here for it. This block is special, and I would love to attempt it. So I guess I need to pay attention and find out what block this is. If you guys know, let me know. But this block it's the block for me. It's like, what? Look at how this, oh, you guys. I just get giddy about quilting. I'm hoping that I find my people and you guys geek out with me because this right here, shoot. Look at this. You get to purposely get rid of your corners. Oh, I'm so good at getting rid of my corners. So good at it. All right, let's see what else we have. Okay, so this was a long one. This is by Wendy Sweedland. Okay, I like Bargellos. We know that I like Bargellos. I've done some Bargellos that are shaped, but I couldn't figure out how people were getting their Bargellos to move. So when she posted this, she talked about how she got it from a book. So now I just need to go find a book on Bargellos so that I can learn how to make my Bargellos have some movement, because you guys know that it was either last week or the week before I posted a Bargello that had like a wave that came through it, and I couldn't figure out how they were doing it. Now I understand Bargellos. I just don't know what the pattern needs to do specifically, how I need to sew my strips in to get this movement. But I thought this was cool. And this quilt gives me a kind of a masculine vibe, and I like when quilts have a masculine vibe to them. I also really like the binding on this. Check out the binding. You guys might miss it if you're not looking for it. So it looks like she dropped a tiny black border here, but then the binding she used like her excess strips right here. Oh, but she bordered it with black. Oh, You guys, I geek out. I know I do. I get excited about the little things, but it's the way that she designed this. This is just perfection. I love it. It's such a cool illusion. All right, let's see. Who else do we have? Is this the last one? Oh no, another variation on a log cabin. Log cabin in triangles. Didn't even know that was possible. I love finding new things. This is by, I think it's Althea or Alethea Grills. Facebook, and everyone can quilt. A variation on a log cabin done on a triangle. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Uh-oh, I hit the button. Let's see. We can zoom in a little bit. Look at the quilting on this. It's like echo quilting. I like how this all comes together. I like the color story. I like the shape. It's different. It's like a variation on stars and stuff. This is pretty cool. Okay, so that's all I have for Facebook and Instagram. Tell me if you liked my finds for this week. I'm pretty happy. I thought I wasn't going to have anything, and then turns out it was pretty cool. So now we're going to talk about my Notion pull. You guys are going to think I'm crazy when you see this Notion. You're going to be like, what? Just wait. You guys are going to think something's wrong with me, and I can understand why. I get it. Because it is, you know, again, it's a little different. But this is our Notion for this week. Don't judge me. You know, I like my Notions, but you can also trust me. I buy all the Notions. So if I say this Notion is worth it, like, trust me, this Notion is worth it. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I still don't even have my Amazon link stuff linked up. Just trust me on this. Okay. Buy any stiletto. Most people probably have a stiletto sitting next to their sewing machine. If you don't have a stiletto, you probably have a purple thing, or your nails are probably long and you're using your nails. You're using something to manipulate the fabric and trying to get close to that needle without, sewing through your finger. I think I purchased this stiletto for $10 more than it's showing here. I think I did. Because when I saw it, I was like, I'm not paying that for that. Like, you can get a purple thing for like $1. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but the little plastic thing, you can get it for cheap. This is by Janie stiletto pressing tool. She was talking about it and she was using it in one of her videos. And I'm like, what? What? You guys, this stiletto is the truth. Let me tell you why. You see down here, it is silver, and it's just a long stiletto like everything else. What I don't like is that there's no cap here because you can hurt yourself because this is extremely sharp. But as you go up in the back part, it has this flat section here, and she uses that like a wood ironing tool so you can open up your seams or press your seams or finger press them with that end of the tool. But what you can't see is that this is actually threaded. It's textured. I don't know what kind of sorcery is happening, but when you touch it, it grips your fabric so much better than my regular stiletto. There is something about the texture on the tip of this that makes it different. It is worth every bit of the $20, $30 I spent on it. And I'm like, this is a very expensive tool for what it is. No, it is different. That texture at the tip makes a difference. I can't explain it. Just trust me, it happens. I am here for it. That stiletto it's great. It really is great. I don't really use this ironing part here. Every now and then I might, but you guys have seen I have some that I'm really partial to that I love. But the texture on that tip is worth every bit of the $20, $30 I spent for it. I know it sounds stupid, but it really works. It grabs the fabric differently. And when you're doing her bags, you really find yourself on that binding. Her binding is just a beast to sometimes deal with. I haven't made my new bag with my new sewing machine yet, but it's coming. And I'll definitely be using this tool because I use this tool nonstop. It sits right next to my sewing machine. I have to have this. If I lost this, I would go replace it. I wouldn't just use my purple thing or the other stiletto. I'd be like, oh no, let me find it because it's that serious. So that's my Notion pull, a by any stiletto. You almost bought the purple thing, Tanita. I have it and I use it. I like the fact that the purple thing has that one. It's got like a quarter measuring thing on the back end. I like it. I use it. However, this is better, especially when you're trying to pull over stuff or if you're trying to adjust. It really is, guys, I'm telling you. And the purple thing, I mean, it's like $1. Buy it. Get that too. But you'll find uses for it because when I'm turning things out, I use the purple thing. I use it to get in those corners because it's not really going to punch through and it's strong enough to kind of poke poke stuff out. I do use it. But this by any tool, I'm telling you, you will not regret it. Okay, so where are we? So that was our notions. Now we are at topic 5. What is topic 5? Oh, other crafty news. Topic 5, other crafty news. You guys are going to be like, huh? So last week, I think I talked about the Cricut. I think I talked about that hat. Oh, the first week I talked about the Cricut. The second time I talked about that hat that went viral, the paper hat for Father's Day. Everybody wanted to be able to do a paper hat. This week, we're going to talk about Christmas trees in your house throughout the year. I know that some people are only about Christmas trees during Christmas time. I feel like if I had the space, I would probably have Christmas trees throughout the house throughout the year. I love what Jamie did here. She did all of these. She said she did the majority of these herself. Have you guys watched the lady from Turtle Creek Lane? She kind of does this. She goes through the seasons and the holiday stuff, and she revamps her house in major ways. And this lady reminds me of her. I think this is so cute. Coming through your entryway, coming through the door, and seeing this would just bring joy to anybody. I think I might adopt this. Maybe I'll start getting little trees and putting them here and there. We'll see. I don't really have space for that. This is cute. I love that she did this. I love that she crafted them herself. I'm assuming that she used some styrofoam maybe, and she looks like she's got some felt ones, like she quilted up some lemons. I don't know. She's got some drinks on there. What a cute theme. And then she dressed the part. Now, where you get a lemonade dress like that from? Love it. Oh, and then look, in front of it, she's got the baskets. She's got is that a quilt? I know she didn't put a quilt on there, but I like what she has underneath it. I just think it's super cute. It's a really cute find. It has nothing to do with quilting, but it is a crafty find. Michelle, you said you just saw this today. It's cute, right? Did you like it when you saw it? Because I mean, people are just going crazy for this. Look at it. It's got 2,000 likes, and that's a lot for this particular page. All right. So now we've gotten to the point where we do show and tell. If nobody has anything, don't worry. I brought another quilt because last week y'all left me hanging, and it's okay if you leave me hanging. I think eventually these lives will catch on and people will come and do the show and tells. So the way that it's going to work is I'm going to drop the link down in the chat. And if you have a quilt, go on ahead and hop on. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to drink some water, and then I will come back and either show you what I have or we will hang out with some people and see what they have brought, if anything. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to drop the link now in the comment section. And if you have brought anything, let's do it. And we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. It's in the washing machine. Oh, you did your first quilt. Oh, I love it. This makes you want to put your tree up year round. I feel you. You don't have enough room for more decorations. I get it. My husband was saying that. He was like, these houses, because we're supposed to be looking for a house. I doubt that we're going to buy this year. I know I keep saying that we are, but we'll figure it out. He's like, these houses are not made for storage. He said, there's no storage in these houses. And he's right. There isn't. If you want to have a bunch of Christmas decorations and all that, you're going to have to put one of those houses in the back that they have at Home Depot and all that kind of stuff just to keep the decorations. You told your husband you wanted to do a year-round tree. I know, right? I know you were just being funny, but like when I think about it, I'm like, dang, this is cute. And then you can retheme it, and I think that houses should kind of have some light stuff around and some decorations. I don't love a plain house. And everybody is all about these plain um grayish houses. Throw some color in there, throw some decorations in there. I love when people decorate their homes. I've got a girlfriend who's married to a man who does the decorating. Like he has a strong aesthetic and he knows the way that he wants things. And so he decorates the house. But yeah, I'm feeling it. So, okay, I'm going to drop these in the links a couple of times in case somebody has something. I hate that your quilt is in the washing machine. Go pull it out. Just shake it out. Shake out the water. Shake out the water a little bit. We're gonna take a quick 2-minute break, and I'm gonna take some sips of water. And then, if nobody has anything, I will go on ahead and show you one of mine, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I don't see anybody who has clicked the link this week. You know what? I am trying very hard not to do the same old where you invite a guest on and you talk to them. But I think I'm going to have to pull a couple people from my guild and have them come on so that we can talk about some quilts that are not mine, because I know you guys are tired of seeing my quilts. All right, I'm going to share this quilt. So this one is I think this is quilt number 5 or 6 for me. This one came up kind of early in my quilt journey. This is a pattern by, I think this is Elizabeth Hartman pattern. You guys know it. It's the Bjorn Bear. Um, and so many things went wrong with this quilt. First of all, I cut the strip for the eyes incorrectly on every single one. I stretched the fabric to make it work, but every single one of these bears' eyes are cut incorrectly. And I don't know exactly where the error was, but I could not get this sucker to line up perfectly. So I was pulling and stretching and tugging on the fabric. But that's kind of when I figured out that if you just stay with it and stick with it, and once it gets quilted, stuff really does kind of work out. I also, when I was sewing together the rows, I just sewed it together and somehow it came up like a whole bear short. And then I realized the importance of pinning the entire row and then sewing it. A lot of lessons. Again, this was quilt number 5 or 6. Now I'm showing you this after this quilt has been loved This quilt has been washed. She says she uses it constantly, and you can tell over here. And I was curious because I put a flange border on here, and I always wondered what a flange border looked like. And you can see that's kind of flipped up here. But this is what the quilt looks like after it's been washed. And I got a chance to hold it and touch it. It is so soft, so cuddly. The colors didn't bleed into that white. I don't believe that she used a color catcher or anything like that. And these are Kona solids, and they are all the colors because, of course, it's me and it's what I would do. I cut these glasses out using my Cricut machine. My particular Cricut is very funky about cutting fabric. And so I probably wasted, I don't know how much fabric. I need to figure out what the issue is with it. I'm probably just going to buy another machine and hope that machine does not have the same issue, because I'd really like to get my applique game up, and the Cricut for me is the best way to do that when it comes to customizing stuff. So again, I took a tons of glasses that they had already installed in Cricut, and I decided to give the bears that I wanted to a different personality. I think my favorite pair are the ones down here in the corner. What I wanted to happen is I wanted my quilter to spell the last name of my cousin in the quilting, and I just wanted it to be repeated. Now, I know that I can probably do that. I can't wait till I get a long arm. Surprise! I'm going to buy a long arm machine, guys. I believe I am. I'm going to test long arming a bit first, but I think I'm going to buy a long arm, guys, because there are certain things that I just want to be able to control, and I'm paying a lot of money a month to get so many quilts quilted. So I think it might be beneficial for me to buy a long arm, because again, I wanted the name spelled out and repeated over and over and over again. And I know that there's a way to do it because I saw Ben Millet do it, and I saw him hit a quilt with it done, and I was like, oh, I knew it could be done. So I'm just going to have to, continue this adventure. I'm getting some questions here. The Maker or the Explorer? The Maker. I have the Cricut Maker, and I'm going to upgrade to the Cricut Maker 3. Michelle, we were making remember those bear cards? They were so much fun. Or you can use my scan. I can. Lisa, are you making fun of me because you know that I've never turned on my scan and cut? Something about a blade cutting through fabric versus a rotary cutter, it kind of freaks me out. I don't know why. Tania, you said you're at a hotel watching and you would have had something. Absolutely. I can't wait. I mean, I'm going to be doing this every other week from now until the end of time. So I am not all that concerned that because I've done 3 episodes, nobody has anything just yet. I know it's coming. I know you guys are getting warm. You guys are warming up to me. It's all right. I've seen some of my people cut with their scanning. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people do it. And so I know it can be done. I just am not familiar with that machine yet. And that's because I've never turned it on. I get it. I realize it. But that's something to think about, because you're right. I know that that has the capability to do it. I've seen it done. They just did it by ironing on the same way that I would have done with the Cricut. Now that I think about it, it's just a different blade. So, and I need to do the quilt that I'm currently working on now is a baby quilt, and I really want to do some serious applique on it. And I know that I'm going to need to use the Cricut to cut out the letters, and I'm just dreading it, guys, because I just feel like I'm going to waste so much fabric. And not only am I wasting the fabric, I'm wasting my heat and bond too with this darn Cricut. So we will see. Thanks, Gina. We'll see what that looks like. I should tape it, because Cricut should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know why that machine does that. That machine is buggy when it comes to cutting fabric. Everything else cuts perfectly, but when it comes to cutting fabric, it stalls. So we'll see what happens with this baby quilt that I'm working on. You guys should see this baby quilt not this coming week, but the week after that. Speaking of, I'll show you guys the back of this quilt, and then we'll talk about what you guys can expect from me. This is the back of this quilt. You can really see the quilting here, which I like. I did some paper piece butterflies and threw them in these stripes because she likes butterflies. And I did a gradient name. And yes, I messed up a bunch of fabric cutting this out, but I like the way that it came out. I like the back of this. This has definitely got kind of a a beachy kind of vibe to it. I am really pleased with it. I can see that my label is still hanging on. I do my labels very differently than I did. Again, this was quilt like 5 or 6. So have I tried my dyes and the Gemini? Yes, I have the Gemini. I also have the AccuQuilt cutting machine, which would do the same thing. So yes, I have, but I don't have, the Cricut. I really need to do a video that talks about when I use which machine for what. So I use my Cricut when I need to do things like spell out the name beard, and like who's going to buy every single die in that size? That's going to be really, really expensive. That's a large letter. That letter is probably 10 inches a piece as it goes down, maybe a little bit shorter. So that's going to be a super expensive die. When you have a Cricut machine, or your scan and cut, you just knock it out. For things that I want to manipulate, I have some other things that I have in mind that I'd like to do, and that's when I use my Cricut. My AccuQuilt, when I need to cut like a gazillion or fulfillion squares, crank them out, knock them out. I don't necessarily have to do it with the rotary cutter. The AccuQuilt is specifically meant so that you can spend more time sewing, and they are absolutely right. It absolutely cuts my time in probably more than half when I'm using their strips and stuff like that. So that's when I use the AccuQuilt. The Gemini, when I just have a really quick something and I have one of those slim dies, I'll go on ahead and run it through there. But I have a lot of a lot of die cutting machines. Tons of die cutting machines over here, and each one has a specific purpose. Even the scan and cut that I haven't used yet, I would love to be able to scan fabric and have a specific motif cut out, especially when you're looking at like tulip pink and case facet with those big, huge flowers or queen's heads. You can tell the machine, cut this out, and it will do it. So I need to just do a video and probably use all of my stuff more. You have 3 baby quilts to do. Ooh, Tanita. This baby quilt that I'm working on now, if anybody has a baby, I don't care if you have one 17 years from now, you're getting this quilt. This is the best baby quilt ever. I'm here for it. I can't wait to show it to you in 2 weeks. So that is kind of what's going on. I love that this has a flange border, so it's gray on the back, but then when you flip it over, it's got that orange. I love that. I love it. It's like it's got 2 separate bindings. So guys, that is a wrap. I think we have made it to an hour, which makes me very, very happy. Anything else? Any questions anybody has? So next week, super excited. You're getting not 1, not 2 videos, but you're getting 5 videos from me next week. What? It's crazy. It's psycho. It's madness. I am doing a collaboration with Quilt In with Soul. You guys are familiar with her. That's the one video that I did of a quilt shop that you guys you guys went crazy for that video. I don't know why. Maybe it's because she's awesome. So you're going to get 5 videos starting tomorrow, 1 every day, and they will be very, very special and very specific, and you'll see which one is my favorite, which I will be releasing on Friday, and they are actually going to be kits that are going to be sold. What? We're selling kits. So stay tuned. Definitely come back tomorrow and through the rest of this week because I've got some stuff coming for you. If you guys have not done so already, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share. We are trying to grow this channel. I'm here for it. I've got special stuff coming up. I've got all kinds of neat things happening, and I want you guys to be a part of it, and I want your friends to be a part of it, and all the things, all the things. So please, again, like, comment, subscribe, and share me with your people. If people are saying, hey, where do you find this? Link my videos. Send it to the people. All right, guys, that's a wrap for our live. I'm so excited. This is episode 3. We are doing it. We are making it. And I hope to see you guys on the 26th. So our next live will not be on a Sunday. It's going to be a special one on Monday, 4 o'clock. Don't worry if you can't make it. You'll catch the replay, but it will be something special. All right. Until I see you guys again. Bye-bye.